Hi, everyone. My name is Joanne Snapp, and I'm the founder of My Honest Advisor. I started this company in 2021 after working for 6 years at a large public university in California. My family decided to move to the Midwest, and so I didn't want to leave what I had built for so many years in terms of my knowledge and my skill set. So I started my own company, and I wanted to introduce myself because I have so many new followers here in the last few months, and I don't get on here much and just talk a little bit about what I do and why I do it. So I started out my career in higher education way back in 2007. That was the first time I was exposed to a medical school. I worked as assistant director of admissions. And over the course of 8 years, when I lived in New York City, I worked at a podiatric medical school. I worked at a nursing college, and I also worked as the director of admissions at an allopathic medical school out in Long Island. And it was at the medical school where I really gained the insight and the perspective that I really use to influence the work that I do today as an advisor. That alone, though, hasn't completely shaped my perspective. Working as an advisor, as a director of an advising center at a university, really filled in the gaps of how to best serve students. And so that's where I really developed my holistic advising philosophy and my approach. This is where I learned to provide the culturally appropriate advising to a lot of the diverse students that I serve. And it's taken me years to really learn about the backgrounds of so many different students. Most of the students I work with come from California, but as I've had my own business, I've worked with students from across the country who come from all different backgrounds. I grew up in the Midwest. I lived in New York City for 8 years, and I've lived in California for 6 years. So it's, just that alone has given me a lot of perspective. I've traveled to many, many states. I think I've been to like 35 states, 40 states in America. So I've seen a lot of different states. I've been to a lot of universities. I think I'm up to about 20 med schools that I've visited. So all of these perspectives that I have in me, in addition to working at the med school, and in addition to working as an advisor at a university, really informs the way in which I do my work. Every person who advises, every person who teaches or does anything really, everybody brings their own lived experiences to create their own truth. And so my perspective on how to build a med school application is honestly really different than a lot of other people's perspectives. And I really, I used to be, I don't want to say defensive about that, but anymore, I own it. I rock it because when I look at the stats of my applicants, when I look at how many interviews they get, and the fact that, all but maybe 2 of my applicants this season have multiple interviews, I really have nothing to worry about at this point. Like, I know that my method works, and I know that the insight, the perspective that I'm bringing to this process works. Because I now have so many years of success. I have so many medical students who are in med school, 3rd, 4th years. I have people who've graduated from med school now who are practicing physicians who can attest to the fact that my methods work. So since I've kind of leaned into the approach that I use, it's actually been such a blast to be an advisor in this capacity where I really do get to serve people from all over the country and use the perspective that I bring where we focus on showing the value that you bring to medicine. Versus thinking about your origin story and then kind of going through, oh, this reaffirmed my desire and this reaffirmed my desire. You're just like telling story after story about your background. Your background is important, and your background is in my method, but it's not just all of this reaffirm my desire to be a doctor. We really hone in on why you want to be a doctor. And I think that's the part that really separates my applicants from other people. So I would love to meet with you. If you are curious to learn more about how I do things, you can always schedule a free consultation with me. I'd be happy to talk more with you and kind of ask you some questions and figure out what your background is and how we can find the intersection between your past and your present and what does that mean about your future. All right. Thanks, everyone.